Theortaliz. Hey, you're the one! Phew, I found you. Here, this is for you. As he walks out the school gate, he hears a strange voice calling out to him. Hooked, he looks up, sees a girl with a face like an owl in a cowl. His first choice is to blank her, walk on, 'cause she seems kind of weird. And he doesn't want stress, he's just keen to get home. But the curious part of his brain makes him stop, and the owl girl approaches, presenting a tome. She smiles, owlishly. This is for you. It's a tale from your faraway uncle, from over the sea. I've been questing to find you. I searched many places. It's yours. Take it, read it, have fun. And as he takes the book, the girl swirls with a feathery whoosh and is gone. The wind whispers farewell and his name. The only trace left of the curious courier is the book in his hands. Now a tingling flame of excitement licks out from the pages and flows up his arms, through his heart to his head. With a grin he heads home, mind a-whirling and thrilling with theories, intrigued to find out what the book holds within. So, at home, now prepared, he lies down on his bed, and he takes a deep breath, and he opens it wide, and he looks at the words, and they wriggle and start to spin round like a whirlpool. A voice from inside that strange vortex resounds in his head, saying, "Welcome. Here, beyond the portal, is the city of Theortaliz. Enter." And at once he decides to explore, to go into the world in the book. He himself starts to spin and flow upwards or downwards or inwards and through the book's pages, word blizzards, a hullabaloo, a tornado of letters. He suddenly pops out the portal's end. Instantly, all the noise stops. Befuddled and flummoxed, he gawps at the scene that surrounds him. Unlike any place that he's been in his life, he stands drenched in a fountain, knee-deep. Droplets shower around him, while slumbering trees and dark, shimmering pools stretch away through a park. And beyond, over treetops, astonished, he sees ancient towers and spires that spike to the clouds. Clockwork walkways connect them, rotating, descending, and skyships glide smoothly past steeples of crystal, and globes made of glass spin in motion unending. He jumps out of the fountain, runs over the grass, every stride full of bounce like a trampoline spring. A startled white rabbit bolts into a hole, inky black. He speeds on like a bird on the wing. He comes to the edge of the park, sees a street with diagonal shops, quaint, eccentric and bright, and dozens of market stalls laden with wares. It feels bustling, but oddly there's no one in sight. A delicious smell reaches his nostrils and, tempted, he heads to a stall with a cauldron that steams, full of sweet, swirling liquid. His mouth starts to water. He leans forward, takes a deep sniff. The world seems to tip over. He plunges right into the surface, but no, he slips through, and he suddenly finds he's emerged in another world, in a dank dungeon, equipped as a classroom, walls lined with all kinds of ingredients, plants, eerie creatures in jars, and schoolchildren, black-robed, stand round tables in huddles. One laughs, someone shrieks, there's a hiss and a bang, and spray covers the flagstones in fizzing pink puddles. He watches as one boy approaches the mess, freckle-faced, floppy-haired, with a grimace of stress. On his shoulder, a pet, or a demon, a lizard. He waves a wand, sparks fly, the boy is a wizard. The mess disappears with a foop and some smoke. But the spell gives him giggles and rashes and switches out one of his nostrils for one of the witches. But which is the witch's and which his? In stitches he twitches and clutches and scratches his itches. In the mayhem, the portal book falls to the floor. Pages open, the vortex appears at his feet. Like a glass elevator, it sweeps him away. In a few giddy seconds, he's back on the street in the city of spires, in the market so silent. But this time he isn't alone, for he sees an old man standing, facing him, smile-mouthed, eyes twinkling, with long silver hair and a beard to his knees. "Are you Dumbledore?" "No, not dumb. In fact, some call me wise. But most call me elder." Smiles crinkle his eyes. "I'm here to help guide you as you find your feet and your thoughts in this place between worlds." "Nice to meet you, elder. This is all pretty crazy. Where is this?" "Theortaliz, city of portals. Its business is linking your homeworld to all of the rest of the worlds, those which novels describe, or you see in your dreams, all the worlds you imagine, the blessed and the cursed, best to worst, all the ways things could be. The gift you've been given," he points at the book, then his face, "helps you cross from your world, from all worlds, to this place in between. A mysterious, liminal space many look for, but scant few have seen, few have been. The dream of many a mortal is to find the famed Theortaliz. Welcome." With a new sense of wonder, he looks all around. Possibilities, options, adventures abound in this place. Within reach, doors to worlds known and new. He asks, "Can you visit those other worlds too?" "I've appeared in a good many worlds," Elder nods. "Many people need guidance." The two walk along sleepy streets, past museums, through grassy green quads, theological colleges, temples to gods. And they come to the station, deserted yet humming, with promise of journeys, excitement. He hears the deep engines of trains that are going and coming. He runs to a platform. Approaching, he peers at the wall. There's no number, but there's a large clock showing 10:15. It's a shimmering blue. He runs towards it, hands out, and they sink through the surface. "I'll just take a look," and he sticks his head through. Then he opens his eyes. There's a station before him, a quaint station. Tracks stretch ahead, cross a plain. And his body feels massive and strange, stuck behind him. He's looking through eyes on the front of a train. This is loco. His train mouth goes wide in surprise. There's a whistle of steam from the top of his head. Then two steam engines race up the parallel tracks with huge smiles on their faces, one green and one red. He can't help but laugh with a steamy train chuckle. He thinks to himself, "Why, I've seen this before. A few years ago now, I knew all the train's names and adventures." He suddenly starts as a roar sounds behind him. Smoke billows. He quickly recoils, stumbles back on boy legs again. Not in the station, and not in the city. He's on a small road, winding high up a valley, a rural location that's cradled by mountains that stretch to the sea far away in the west. and the afternoon sun sparkles on distant waves and on glittering spires of the city far off, from which fields and roads run miles and miles up the valley to where he now stands. A warm wind, tinged with salt, stirs his hair, and he turns to look east, up the slope. Up ahead there's a village, enchanting and still. Fragrant trees, pretty ferns line the track. He strides forwards, his legs full of energy, breathing deep, savouring the sweet-scented air, when he notices there on a bench on the roadside, an old woman sits, waiting, smiling. Her hair is a cascade of silver, her eyes gleam like stars, twinkling bright in her kind, lined old face. As he nears her, she springs to her feet. "Traveller, we meet again." "We've met?" "Yes, we know her," say his eyes and his ears. You're not elder, are you? But weren't you a man?" "I'm whatever I want to be. I'm me. I can be a man or a woman, any form that I need. In my heart, I'm the same. Come, my role is to lead future heroes part way on their path." They walk on. "I'm not stuck as one person. No, I can be many, and you can be too. Stories let you take any appearance, persona, perspective you choose, and experience life walking in different shoes. And you write your own story. You choose who to be. Your decisions, your actions." They reach a large tree arching over the road. There the air seems to fizz. He nods now at Elder. "I know what this is. A gate out of the country of Theortaliz." He steps confidently through the portal. The ground seems to flip upside down with a lurch. Then his eyes readjust, see a moor of red grass, yellow skies. This world feels like a mirror, the other way around. And his right is his left, and his left is his right. As he stares at his hands, at the edge of his sight, a cloaked figure appears, hurries in his direction. It's small, cute, and clumsy. On closer inspection, strange, quivering shapes bulge beneath the dark cloak on its head, back, and shoulders. 2 eyes, huge and pale, blink from under the hood, and a trembling voice says,
"Ole, Emma Glue, oh, I leap off the tail."
He stares at it blankly. It titters and blinks.
"Sorry, overexcited. Forgot that you speak in reverse. We've just waited so long for your coming. Are you a human?"
It asks with a squeak. Of course, yes, I am," he replies, and before he can ask any questions, the thing shakes his hand with a breathless delight.
"Like the legend says, you're the boy hero who'll save us and free this grim land from the monster whose ravages leave us in terror. It's taken the castle there high on the cliff."
The boy hero just swallows. There must be an error. I've never fought monsters. I don't really know if I can help you." The creature's not listening. It seems to be starstruck.
"You come here to reel from our dreams. We've read about you in our best storybook, and you seem like a real boy, except that you look a bit strange. You've no tentacles, antlers, or wings."
And it throws off its cloak. It has all of those things.
"Now, please, to the castle."
It points.
"I can't stay. I must spread the good news."
And it flutters away. He's nervous, bewildered, but still he decides that he'll make his best effort, act bold and heroic. The wind howls, sharp sleet lashes down, yet he strides through the storm, uncomplaining, undaunted and stoic. He enters the castle. The gate hangs ajar. It's deserted, no sound but the wind, and waves far below crash at the base of the cliffs. On he stumbles through courtyards and halls, empty. Deep thunder rumbles with menace. He sees 2 great doors open wide, like a gaping mouth. Bravely he peers inside. It's a cavernous ballroom. Dark, shadowy shapes fill the gloom, posed like dancers with masks, ball gowns, capes. But they've stopped in mid-step. There's no movement at all. With a thunderous blast, lightning lights up the hall. And he sees they're all frozen, or maybe transfixed, by a basilisk's stare or an ice witch's spell. Faces turned to the door, looks of startlement mixed with blind panic and dread. And he turns with a yell as his skin crawls with fear, and he senses approaching a presence of horror and madness, encroaching and warping the castle, distorting reality. Fiction, mutation swarm in. Abnormality rives the old stones like an earthquake. And there is the oogleish squarm, vlurging gruthly. The stare of its terrible eyes burns the air. The great jaws gnash and mourn as it withers the ground with its claws. The storm wails and squalls as the vermicious beast slithes and glaubles its way to the ballroom to feast on once dancing queens, paralyzed princes, its prey. But one small moving figure now stands in its way. He is scared, but he won't be defeated by fear. As the monster emerged, in his mind he could hear elders' words. He decided he'd take on the role of a hero, be brave despite terror and doubt. No one else would face up to this monster. The whole of this castle, this world, needed him to stand out and to stop the oppression, protect those in need of his help. So he grabbed a sword hung on the wall. Now he faces the monster, but it takes no heed of his shouts. So, unbowed, he leaps forward with all of his strength, and he makes a great stab through its scales, and the monster roars out. Fire streams from its maw. Thick black blood oozes forth, and its poisoned tail flails. It's enraged. No one's wounded or fought it before. Now it lunges and snaps, but he dodges and rolls, and he slashes the spiked tail that swings at his head. Acid sprays on the stones. Now he knows he controls its attention. Its meal is forgotten. Instead, it just wants to devour this boy so defiant. He leads it away, zigzags, sprints up a tower, runs out on the walls. As the beast makes a giant bite, lunging, he parries with all of his power. A snick and a snack, and he's able to hack off its head. It collapses and splinters the walls. And he slips on its slime and goes staggering back, loses balance and trips off the ramparts. He falls. Cold air rushes around him. A roar fills his hearing. Wind waves as he plunges off wall and off cliff. Is that noise shouts of triumph? Is that a crowd cheering? He hits the cold sea. It engulfs him as if it will hold him forever. His body is numb, though adrenaline pounds in his head like a drum. And vague half-flashbacks stir in his memory. Frowning, he seems to recall silent castles, falls, drowning. I once wrote a story like this one, he thinks. In my story, the hero got rescued. Oh well, we can't always just have happy endings. He sinks. Then he suddenly feels something grab him, propel him back up to the surface. He's thrust in the air, and strong hands heave him onto the deck of a ship. And he coughs, splutters, gasps. Thank you. Who? What? Why? Where? He hears chuckles and somebody offers a sip of a warm, bracing drink that refreshes his brain. Now he looks at his rescuers. They, in the main, look like pirates or like vicious Viking marauders, wild-haired, but they smile and salute. A voice orders them all back to work. "Double quick now, shipmates. There's no time for gawping. The ocean awaits." Then a softer voice next to him says, "Come, sit down. You deserve a rest, hero. You've earned great renown." And a gentle, wise dwarf with formidable wisps of electric blue hair guides him to a soft seat, tells him, "We saw the battle you fought there, high on the cliff castle walls, a courageous feat." He explains with a little wistful sigh, "We've waited so long for the beast to die. You have fulfilled our impossible wish to free this realm from the dreadful beast, the Ooglish squarm, terror of the east. The creature you slew is one which blew islands apart with its ravaging breath as it flew. Is your heart made of steel? This whole realm we call real owes you thanks." As he smiles, the planks behind them creak. The captain's here. Aye, as we speak of heart, no doubt you'd like to join us on our escapade. We're sunrise bound. Come, lad, we plan to sail around the other eastern island. Ahead is ocean. What lies beyond? Who knows? We have no notion. The dwarf has a thought. "Maybe you know what's there past the edge of the world. Don't you come from elsewhere? How did you come to Real?" "Well, it's hard to explain, but..." He pulls out the book. "Neither water nor stain has affected it. This has some magic inside that transports me between..." The book suddenly pried from his fingers. A gust of wind grabs it and flings it to starboard. The pages fly open like wings. Like a seabird, it arcs towards the water. But nimbly, he springs, intercepts it. His fingertips grip the inside. He's sucked into the vortex. The world whirls around like a maelstrom. Gone ocean and ship. And he's suddenly up on a mountaintop, high, miles up, almost touching the indigo sky. He can tell that he's back in Theortaliz. There, far below's the long vale, winding west to the sea between two rows of mountains. The pinnacle where he now stands is the high point of one. He can see like a sparkling speck on the far ocean bay, the great city from earlier on in the day. But from this coign of vantage, he now can observe the wide lands on the other south side of the curve of this great range of peaks. The ground slopes down to hills, and southwest, where the sun's setting, vast forest fills all the land. As the twilight falls, lamplights wink on in the canopy. Southeast, the sunlight has gone, yet he glimpses a desert of shadowy dunes, tombs and sphinxes like awesome Egyptian creations. Beyond, on the coast, faintly shimmering lagoons, and half lost in the haze, towering rocky formations. Due south, down through foothills, cascades a great river that flows through savanna to swamps. With a shiver, he turns his attention to where he now stands, the last bastion of sunlight. Below him, the lands disappear in the dusk, and an icy wind gusts up the slopes. He descends to the lee of a bluff, where he finds in its shelter a twisted tree thrusts its contorted trunks out of the scree, and its tough, wizened branches bear green leaves, and fragrant though tiny white flowers in clusters like snowflakes, and shiny black berries in bunches. Its grey, wrinkled bark seems to writhe and to flex in the gathering dark. After all that he's seen, he feels no great surprise when the tree yawns and stretches and opens 3 eyes. Back again, a voice creaks, and its mouth smiles with pride. You're advancing so fast. Self-assured and clear-eyed, he says, You must be elder. He gives a small bow. This has been quite a journey. And what's in store now? How many worlds are there? Like 10, 12, or more? This many. A twig traces a sign in the air, like an 8 lying down. If you travel for your whole life, visiting worlds, you will still only barely begin to discover them. There is a space in the Panverse for every conceivable place you can dream of, and some places even beyond. Elder reaches down, hands him a straight, slender wand. 7 inches, stiff elderwood, soft graphite core. He gives it a flourish, inspects it. It seems like a pencil, but powerful. Magic could pour from this wand if you chose the right words. Elder beams. Every world, every story already exists out there somewhere, each possible way things can be. Many stranger than any you've seen. Its mouth twists in a smile of remembrance. An author can see or can sense their existence, their contours, detail. They put pen to page and, like leaf rubbing, reveal on the paper those textures and shapes through the veil. Thus, our books create windows to worlds past our real. You now have such power to travel, observe life in other realities, write to preserve it and share it with others. He likes the suggestion. There's so much potential. Can I ask a question? Is Theortaliz a city or country or what? No, my boy, it's far bigger and growing a lot. All you see, it starts to chortle, is the continent, Theortaliz. He feels full of ideas, keen to move, to take wing and explore far and wide, but he asks, one more thing, just how do I know where a world entrance lies? There's a story in everything, Elder replies, and that means there's a portal, if you work out how to unseal it. Look, there's a nice one coming now. So he turns and sees, lit by the last golden ray of the sun, is a cloud, and it's floating his way, brushing close past the crags. As it reaches him, he gives a last nod and glance towards Elder. The tree stands still, stroking its long, non-existent white beard. Help your mind keep on growing, and relish the weird. He calls farewell, and as he's engulfed in the cloud, he hears Elder reciting times tables out loud. In an instant, he's weightless, surrounded in white, in a strange, new dimension. There's nothing in sight. Then thin lines and small symbols emerge all around, forming patterns and grid lines. There's no solid ground. Then he realizes, this takes the biscuit. He laughs. It's a landscape of numbers, equations, and graphs. Not a person, nor creature, no buildings or trees, but all species of numbers, both tiny and great. A 1/5 flits past. Wide-eyed, he looks up and sees a 12,563,009,478. He sees fractions and polygons, pie charts, with pi and more infinite decimals circling the sky. Numbers merge and transform. 3 times 9, 27. A 16 sheds a 5 and becomes an 11. Looking down, he now sees there's a gorge at his feet, down to minus land. There, numbers hunt, catch, and eat any positive numbers that fall in the void. They're reduced or turned minus themselves, or destroyed. The great chasm stretches down, it's unfathomably deep. I don't think that there is any bottom, he muses. The sight gives him vertigo. Struggling to keep himself upright, he staggers and totters and loses his footing. The cliff edge, precarious, crumbles. An algebra earthslide. Unbalanced, he tumbles. Is he falling down, or the chasm falling up? There's no time for a fuss. Toughen up, Buttercup. Like an action film hero, he grabs a square root sticking out from the cliff as loose numerals shoot past his head. There's a chance. Deftly, with his free hand and quick thinking, he grabs tumbling numbers, signs, and mathematical symbols and strings them in line. -2 minus -11 makes 9. And that thought catapults him back up. And before problems double in trouble and multiply more, he flips open the book and he shoves his hands through. And he's sucked from that math plane like smoke through a flue. And he's gliding through space, brilliant, sparkling stars, supernovae splash beautiful, nebula scars all around. He soars, silently and very fast, more worlds than he'd ever thought all whiz and spin sublimely through the vast galactic realm. Theortaliz. Then, from far, far away, a sound reaches his ears, calling, "Dinner time!" Nearby, a black hole appears and starts pulling him in. He'd begun to forget he was hungry for tea. Now he's stretched like spaghetti, sucked in. With a jerk, he wakes up, or he lands on his bed with the book and the wand in his hands. And he rubs his eyes. Was that real? What is real? Now he at least has the tools to explore, and knows how. He stands, heads for dinner, but stops at his door by the bookshelf, packed full with more worlds to explore. That's where the adventuring really begins. Hold tight, worlds. I'm just getting started, he grins.